Right now at 7, 9 days of mourning begins for Pope Francis following his funeral. And Jacob is tracking an alert day for tomorrow. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in to Weekend Mornings. I'm Michelle Renee Quinn here on this Sunday, April 27th, filling in for Kyle Pazorski. Fun fact this morning, guitarist John Osborne of Osborne Brothers is 43 today. Now let's begin this morning with a look at the first warn forecast. Jacob Montesano has that. Good morning.
Good morning. We're seeing some temperatures a little cooler today, especially for areas east of Madison where they have dropped into the 30s. They've warmed back up into the lower 40s for Madison. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that we're seeing clear skies for areas east, but cloudy skies for west and northwestern areas have allowed temperatures to only drop to around 50 for some locations. Now, looking at the current radar, we all are seeing some light rain. My guess is this is just radar interference and not actually precipitation in southern Wisconsin. But further northwest towards La Crosse, that is likely in the form of some showers. Looks like some moderate showers near Rochester. And overall, we're going to continue to see some light showers throughout the morning, especially for areas north and northwest of Madison. But the rain today is going to be very light, and once we get to the afternoon, we are expecting sunny skies for just about everybody. Now, as far as temperatures, Madison will see highs in the middle 60s, maybe a little bit breezy at times, but the wind not too bad. And for La Crosse, a very similar forecast, middle 60s with partly sunny skies by the afternoon and maybe some breezy conditions. And across the board, we'll see very nice conditions. But we are going to have that alert day for Monday with the likelihood of severe weather. All the details on that coming up a little bit later.
All right, Jacob, thank you. We'll check back in just a bit. 9 days of mourning are now underway for Pope Francis following a funeral that brought world leaders together at the Vatican. It was a stage for a remarkable meeting between President Trump and Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. Bradley Blackburn has the rest of that story for what's next for the Catholic Church.
At the Vatican Sunday, St. Peter's Square was packed again as the faithful join in a mass on the second day of Novendiale, 9 days of mourning for Pope Francis. At St. Mary Major, mourners lined up to see the Pope's tomb for the first time as the basilica was reopened to the public. Saturday, he was buried there in a simple tomb with the Latin name Franciscus. The Pope was carried through Rome to his final resting place after world leaders gathered for his funeral at the Vatican, with a crowd of 250,000. The service emphasized Pope Francis's commitment to the poor and his desire for peace. And the funeral brought together President Trump and Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, the remarkable image of them sitting face to face inside St. Peter's Basilica, discussing the Russia-Ukraine war. Later, the president threatened more sanctions against Russia in a post to social media, writing there was no reason for Putin to be shooting missiles into civilian areas, cities, and towns over the last few days. Back in Rome, preparations are now underway for the conclave that will choose the next pope and the direction of the Catholic Church.
Certainly every conclave is a referendum on continuity or change. Francis at this moment is on the political losing side. The causes that he espoused, defense of advocacy for migrants, care for the environment, for the poor, these sorts of things are not fashionable right now.
The conclave is likely to begin next week. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Time now is 7:08. Still ahead, Jacob is tracking an alert day in the forecast, plus an event to learn about spiritual wellness, how you can take part in it. That's all coming up on Weekend Mornings.
Good morning, everybody. Let's take a look at the alert day that we are expecting Monday. Strong to severe thunderstorms are in the forecast, and the likelihood of these severe storms is pretty high. Now, it says we have for all of southern Wisconsin, obviously for our viewing area, but really all of Wisconsin as a whole will be seeing the potential for severe weather for Monday into Monday night. No changes really from yesterday with the severe weather outlook. Moderate risk for areas west and northwest, enhanced risk for a lot of, or for the rest of our area. Places to the east of that moderate risk are under that enhanced risk. We are seeing a widespread area where we're going to see that moderate to enhanced risk across the Midwest and Great Lakes region. All severe weather hazards are possible. Strong winds, large hail, even a few isolated tornadoes are possible from time to time. So definitely stay tuned to the forecast during the peak hours of severe weather, which will be in the evening. So looking at the forecast for the next 48 hours, today is going to be pretty dry, sunshine by the afternoon. We are going to see some rain late tonight into early Monday, and some of these storms could be severe, but they're likely going to be on the lighter side of severe. Definitely could produce, some strong winds, large hail, but not as bad as the storms we're going to see later, because we're going to dry up throughout the afternoon, and that will help fuel these thunderstorms that are developing in the afternoon and evening. And they're going to push across our area from the west, northwest, and push south, southeast. So the further west and northwest you're located, the earlier it will occur, and the further east, the later it will occur. Especially anywhere between 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. will be the chance of those severe storms. Looks like it will clear out later in the night into Tuesday morning. Maybe some light rain continuing, especially for places in northern Wisconsin, but this will not be severe Tuesday morning. And then by the afternoon, we are going to see it dry out completely. So to recap the timing of all this, again, some isolated showers and storms are possible in the morning for Monday, around up until around 9 to 10 p.m., maybe up until noon, but mainly earlier in the morning. Could produce some minor severe weather, but then will dry up for the afternoon with very strong storms expected for the evening time frame, clearing out kind of around that 2 to 4 a.m. time frame early Tuesday morning. So it's definitely going to be a busy day, but after Monday, things calm down quite a bit. We'll have highs back in the 60s, which is pretty close to normal for this time of the year. A few small chances of rain, but at this point in time, we are not expecting any severe weather for certainty. And really, the rainfall may not even produce thunderstorms at this point, but obviously that could change a little bit. The good news for those of you that want to see summer-like temperatures is early next week and even beyond the 10-day forecast, there is a lot of suggestion that we're going to see some very warm temperatures, possibly getting close to 80 by the middle of next week. So we'll see those summer-like temperatures then. But after Monday, the rest of this week, very seasonable and very spring-like with highs in the 60s for the most part.
We'll get through Monday, and then we'll have a great week. And this day is starting off very wonderful, isn't it, Jacob?
Yeah, really, it's just Monday. Now, Thursday, we are expecting rain, but temperature-wise and, conditions-wise, it's going to be, there's a lot of days that are very, very nice going forward. It's just Monday is our focus right now because it is going to be a pretty busy day severe weather-wise.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Camp Walbeek was a busy place this weekend. Easter Seals, Wisconsin hosted their Family Veterans Weekend, and the event gives veterans with disabilities, along with their family members, a weekend of fun and activities to enjoy.
We are here at our Family Veterans Camp. We host a Family Veterans Camp twice a year for veterans and their families to come here at Respite Camp and enjoy nature, different programming. We have a bunch of our AmeriCorps members here that just kind of help out throughout the weekend.
If you would like to learn more about the program, just head on over to easterseals.com. The time now is 7:16. Still ahead, the Trump administration revoking journalist protections. Plus, on the weekdays, we do My News 3 this morning. So before we head to break, here's a look at my morning last Sunday. I spent it celebrating Easter at my grandparents', and they have some pretty flowers outside, so enjoy. Welcome back. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi is revoking Biden-era protections for journalists when it comes to government leak investigations. That's according to an internal Justice Department memo from Bondi. The move will again allow federal investigators to go after media outlet communications as part of leak investigations. Bondi wrote the Justice Department will not tolerate, quote, unauthorized disclosures that undermine President Trump's policies, victimize government agencies, and cause harm to the American people. Bondi's predecessor, Merrick Garland, implemented the policy after several media outlets had some of their communications secretly pursued at the end of Trump's first term. The policy at the time was seen as a win for free press protection. And the Trump administration wants to use technology to make it easier to find undocumented immigrants. Staffers from the Department of Government Efficiency are building a master database. Their goal is to pull data from various agencies. Those include the Internal Revenue Service, Social Security Administration, and Health and Human Services. All those agencies have sensitive personal data that hasn't been used before to proactively identify immigration status. Data analytics company Palantir is helping with the project. It was co-founded by an ally of Elon Musk and has helped immigration officials in the past with criminal investigations. This time is different because the violations the database can search for are civil, not criminal. Democratic lawmakers call it an exploitation of personal data. Also in health news this morning, a new study by the University of Texas health researchers found family and friends who care for someone with dementia are more likely to be physically aggressive or neglectful if they regularly drink an excessive amount of alcohol. They found any alcohol use also led to greater odds of poor outcomes, including grabbing, biting, yelling, and not helping the dementia patient with daily hygiene. Still ahead on weekend mornings, how supply chain problems could affect your car's repairs. Right now, multiple people are dead after an SUV plowed into them in a Vancouver parade. Plus, Jacob is in tracking an alert day for your Monday. We'll have the full forecast coming up. And the NFL draft is officially over. Hear from the newest members of our beloved green and gold, plus details on where our Badgers are headed professionally. Well, good morning and happy Sunday. Thank you for tuning in. You are watching Weekend Mornings. I'm Michelle Renee Quinn. Today is Sunday, April 27th, and with April being recognized as National Stress Awareness Month, I want to share a quote with you for some morning motivation. Aristotle says it is during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light. So if you're having a rough time, you're stressed out or whatever's going on, try to find that light, and whether it's a pretty flower or simply enjoying the pitter patter of the rain, take a moment to appreciate those little things and really allow yourself to feel the sunshine. And speaking of sunshine, let's see if we have any coming our way. Jacob Montesano is here with a look at your forecast. Good morning.
Good morning, and yes, we are going to see a good amount of sunshine for today. Pretty similar to yesterday in general, maybe not quite as much sunshine, but temperatures are going to be warmer. Now, right now, they were a little cool to start the morning, but most of the area has risen into the lower 40s, but there has been 30s for areas east due to the clear skies. But cloud cover further northwest has kept those temperatures a little bit warmer, upper 40s, lower 50s right now. And we are seeing some light showers out there, nothing too extreme. The heaviest rain right now is further northwest in southeastern Minnesota, but even this rain is mostly on the light to moderate side. Now, we may continue to see some light showers throughout the morning, especially for areas just to the north and also northwest of Madison. Rain is going to be very, very light though, and by the afternoon we're going to see clear skies with maybe some cloud cover developing later in the day for areas further west, and then overnight we are going to see those clouds continue to increase. But for today, it's going to be a very nice day, plenty of sunshine by the afternoon, highs in the middle 60s, maybe a little bit breezy, but with the middle 60s and the sunshine, the wind not really going to be too bad. And for La Crosse, a very similar forecast, partly sunny skies, highs in the middle 60s. But although today is good, we do have that alert day in the forecast for tomorrow. The details on that coming up a little bit later.
Jacob, thank you. We'll check back in just a bit. Now to our top stories. Multiple people are dead after an SUV plows into a street festival in Vancouver. This happened last night around 8 p.m. at the Lapu Lapu Day Festival. Police arrested a 30-year-old Vancouver man at the scene. Officials cannot yet confirm the number of victims as they were taken to multiple hospitals in the region. Officials say they're confident this was not an act of terrorism. And also developing this morning, one person is in the hospital after an accident on Cottage Grove Road. Madison Sheriff's Department says a car hit a pedestrian. Eastbound traffic on Cottage Grove Road was closed for a couple hours last night, and officials confirm one person was transported to a hospital. Their condition is unknown at this time. And the 2025 NFL Draft has come to a close. It had record-breaking attendance in Green Bay this weekend. I've seen reports from 250,000 to 600,000 people throughout draft weekend. Green Bay police say between the 3 days, there were 8 people removed from the event and only 1 arrest. We'll be speaking with officials later this week for the final security updates, and do stick around for the highlights of the draft coming up later in our morning sports. Now, recapping another top story from Wisconsin this week, the FBI arrested County Judge Hannah Dugan Friday after she allegedly prevented ICE agents from picking up a man who was in the country without documentation. Protesters took to the Milwaukee FBI building to object to the charges yesterday. Dugan's charges stem from an encounter last week when the agent showed up at the courthouse with an administrative warrant. Federal authorities have charged the Milwaukee County Circuit Judge with obstruction and concealing the individual from arrest. The DOJ says, according to the affidavit, the judge's actions directly resulted in the man temporarily avoiding federal custody.
This is a person who stood up for what was right, for those men not to be taken out of a courthouse, which should be a place people can go for services. And instead, she has been hit with felony charges. This is incorrect. This is immoral.
Some Trump administration officials are speaking publicly about the incident.
I think some of these judges think they are beyond and above the law, and they are not.
The Milwaukee County executive counters that, saying, in part, Trump's FBI is more concerned about weaponizing federal law enforcement. Judge Dugan is contesting the charges. And a statement released on behalf of Judge Dugan says she will defend herself vigorously and that she looks forward to being exonerated. According to the DOJ, obstruction of proceedings before a department or agency of the U.S. carries a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison, and concealing a person to prevent arrest carries a maximum penalty of 1 year in prison. Now, Kia, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Hyundai, and Toyota drivers are still struggling to get parts from certain auto manufacturers. This is a huge lingering effect of the supply chain problems from the pandemic, and waiting for a part that's on back order could leave your car sitting for weeks to months.
Like so many of us, Sylvia uses her car as a lifeline. She went almost 9 months without it.
And I had to find rides from other people so I wouldn't lose my job.
She drives a Kia and took it to Madison Metro Kia in May of 2024 for an engine issue.
Well, it was bad, 77 years old, and it's like it's hard on my system, and I'm living from paycheck to paycheck.
Metro Kia confirmed they would cover the issue with her engine, but a part was missing. Sylvia spent months paying a car note and insurance for a vehicle she did not have. She was later told that it was not just a part.
She says, no, it's the whole engine. You didn't tell me that before. Nothing, like I didn't even exist. It's like, man, I bought this vehicle from you people and you treated me really badly.
That's when Sylvia reached out to call for action.
In September, we started reaching out to Metro Kia, and they weren't really getting back to us. We advised Sylvia to file her complaint with the state, the Consumer Protection Department, DATCAP.
DATCAP has 12 current cases with Metro Kia, but did not find the business in violation of anything. Madison's call for action has had a total of 18 Metro Kia cases.
Metro Kia told Call for Action volunteers
they're still experiencing those parts shortages since COVID.
I reached out to Metro Kia if they had a response to these accusations by Sylvia. In an email, they said, in part, Metro Kia feels they did everything that was in their control. The customer was informed of the situation as soon as the service department knew what was needed for the availability of the parts. It was a challenge at times to reach the customer by phone. Metro Kia also went on to comment on their customer service etiquette, saying, this customer was never hung up on by anyone, and every time she came into the service department for anything, she was helped and any questions from her were answered. We do not feel that she was ever ignored. The parts of this vehicle were put on a back order status by the manufacturer, and once the parts were all received at the dealership, the engine was installed and the vehicle was returned to the customer. The part for Sylvia's car finally did arrive after News 3 Now began investigating.
I'm gonna cry, because it wasn't enough for you guys. I'd still be without a car.
I also asked Metro Kia about the issue of getting parts on time from Kia Corporate, and they shared this response with me. Kia Motors works to fill back order part orders as quickly as possible. As soon as parts are sent to Metro Kia, they're installed on the customer's vehicles. Now, there was also an issue with the loaner vehicle that Metro Kia gave Sylvia, and all of that information of the story is in the web article, so you can view that on channel3000.com. But 9 months without a car is very difficult. Anyways, keep it here. Still ahead on Weekend Mornings, a night to remember for kids, teens, and adults coming up. Welcome back. A quick look ahead for you this morning. Next Sunday is a night to remember. Now, Night to Remember is a prom-like experience that celebrates kids, teens, and adults with disabilities. Participation is free, and you can enjoy a red carpet walk with the paparazzi and night of music and dancing. Now, the goal is to raise awareness among the 11% of Dane County residents living with disabilities, and volunteers are crucial to making this event happen and making it a success. So if you're interested, they're looking for about 300 volunteers. Go on and head to ntrheartland.com/volunteers. Officials report a Fort Atkinson firefighter is recovering from an injury. That's after the morning fire yesterday left one house damaged. Just before 11 a.m., Fort Atkinson fire responded within minutes. The fire was brought under control very quickly, limiting damage to the detached garage and some exterior heat damage to neighboring homes. No residents were injured, and the fire is not believed to be suspicious in cause. Now, wind always makes fire spread a little bit faster, so hopefully it's not too windy outside. Let's check in with Jacob for your first warn weather.
At least right now, we're not seeing wind too bad. We might see some of the breezy conditions later, but overall wind, not really a huge factor today. Today is going to be overall a very nice day. Plenty of sunshine, highs in the middle 60s. And as we get into the overnight hours, we'll start to see those clouds increase, which will allow temperatures to not really fall that much. We'll have lows in the 50s. And then for Monday, we have the severe weather. That's the big story. But a big reason for that severe weather is we're going to see very mild temperatures and very humid conditions as well, possibly getting close to 80 degrees. Now, before the severe weather, we're actually going to see sunshine in the afternoon with windy conditions. And again, that'll help fuel the severe weather. Now, looking at the temperatures after Monday, though, they're going to be a lot more closer to normal for the rest of the week with highs in the 60s. And then they'll be back in the 70s for early next week. And looking further than just the 10-day forecast, the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook shows above normal temperatures for us here in Wisconsin and the Great Lakes region. So we may be seeing not just consistent 70s, but maybe a few 80s by the end of the 10-day forecast. So we'll have more summer-like temperatures by then. Now, as far as the alert day, I'll have the full forecast on that coming up just after the next break.
Well, 80s are what I like to hear, Jacob. Thank you. In Health Conversations this morning, blood pressure is one of the most important health indicators that we have. Our Kyrian Lee sits down with Dr. Rupa Shah this morning to share how you can monitor your blood pressure and some tips for helping manage it.
As people age, keeping blood pressure at a safe level is key to preventing hypertension, heart complications, and stroke. SSM Health's Dr. Rupa Shah joins us with more information. Good morning.
Good morning.
So first and foremost, how should people prepare to take their blood pressure?
Yeah, that's a good question. So basically, as I'm sitting here cross-legged, that is not correct. So if you're going to take your blood pressure, just make sure your legs are uncrossed, you're seated, just kind of just like this. Make sure your arm is supported on a table, right at about heart level.
Okay.
When you put the cuff on, here's my elbow, you want it just about kind of 2 finger breadths above the elbow, not too tight, but snug enough that you get a good reading. And then we always recommend the automated cuffs, that the arm cuffs. The wrist cuffs are kind of notoriously inaccurate, and so we don't really love those readings and trust them as much. Also, if you do get a cuff, it's good to take it to your doctor's office too next time you're in for an appointment, because we can check it against the reading we take with our blood pressure cuff compared to the one that you've bought at home.
So what should we do when we're ready to take that measurement then?
Yeah, so again, same thing, just be seated, have your arm up, be relaxed, just make sure you're not too stressed.
That can change it.
Yep, and then you can take it in the left arm, and then you can wait 5 to 10 minutes. If you want to repeat it, you can take it in the right arm as well.
And so what do the numbers mean, that top number and that bottom number?
Yeah, that's a point of confusion for people, but both numbers are important. The top number we refer to as a systolic blood pressure reading, and the bottom number is the diastolic reading. You can think of the systolic, or the top number, as the pressure in your arteries when your heart is pumping, when it's in systole, okay? And then the bottom number is the opposite. It's the pressure when you're in between the heartbeats, when the pressure in the arteries is more relaxed and the heart is filling. But both numbers are really important.
And so what are some tips for managing blood pressure?
Yeah, so again, healthy lifestyle measures, right? Exercising, trying to get at least 150 minutes of exercise 2 to 3 times a week if possible. Working on weight if you're overweight, working on even modest weight loss. People think you have to lose a large amount of weight. Really, even 5 to 10% can really impact the blood pressure in a positive way. Again, if you smoke, quitting smoking can really help. But those are all good things that people can do if they're worried about their blood pressure. And again, if you're seeing blood pressures that are ranging, you know, we like to say 120/80 is normal. And if you're consistently seeing blood pressure readings that are above 135/85, it's time to get into your doctor.
Yes, get there right away because it can lead to more problems.
Yes, exactly.
All right, well, Dr. Shaw, thank you so much for joining us. And before we go, where can we find you for more information?
You can find me on Instagram at Wellness with Dr. Shaw.
Dr. Shaw, thank you so much.
Thanks again.
All right, ladies, thank you. It's always a joy working with you. Also in health news this morning, a new study of people around the world finds middle-aged Americans show some of the highest levels of loneliness. The study finds loneliness generally increases with age, but here, the U.S. and the Netherlands are the only 2 countries where middle-aged people feel more lonely than older generations. Findings show being unmarried, not working, depression, and poor health are some of the major factors causing loneliness. And happening today, don't miss the Spiritual and Wellness Expo at Garver Feed Mill. If you're feeling a little lonely, this is a great event for you. It's free, running from 10 to 4, and it's a great way to explore and discover new ways to support your mind, body, and spiritual wellness. There will be a variety of vendors offering readings, products, and services, along with presentations, demonstrations, and workshops. And later this week, Thursday, marks the first anniversary of the Mount Horeb shooting. You'll remember law enforcement shot and killed an armed student outside of Mount Horeb Middle School. The student had a pellet gun and was unable to enter any school buildings, and nobody else was hurt. Now, the district is not closing school on Thursday. Thursday is the anniversary, but rather it's working to provide extra support to help anyone experiencing trauma. That's to help students navigate the anniversary with strength and resilience. The time now is 7:43, still ahead, a catch up on the last few days of the draft. Plus, Jacob will have your full forecast coming up on Weekend Morning.
Excuse me, sorry. Good morning, everyone. Here's a final look at the full alert day forecast. We're going to see some severe weather expected Monday and into Monday, or early Monday night. And looking at the severe weather outlook, it hasn't really changed since yesterday. Moderate risk for areas west of Madison, enhanced risk just to the east of that. And the only area in Wisconsin not in that enhanced risk are areas just near Lake Michigan, and those locations still under a slight risk. So as we take a look at the severe weather hazards we're expecting, wind and hail are the most likely, could be on the stronger side for both of these. Could even see a few tornadoes as well, possibly a few strong tornadoes. So definitely stay tuned to News 3 Now during the evening tomorrow because these storms could be very intense. Now looking at the forecast for the next 48 hours, sunshine today, very nice. We'll start to see some rain move in late tonight into early Monday, and the storms early Monday will be on the minor side of severe weather. Not expected to be too strong, but still could produce that severe weather. But then we'll be dry for the afternoon and early evening, and that will allow those storms to really form and strengthen, and they'll push across our area during the evening into the early overnight hours, lasting as late as possibly around 2 to 3 a.m. But as we get closer to sunrise Tuesday morning, a lot of it will be out of the area, and then we're almost certainly going to be dry by the time we get to Tuesday afternoon. So once again, timing all this out, minor severe weather is possible early Monday, with dry conditions for the afternoon, which will make way for very strong storms by the time we get to the evening. A few isolated tornadoes are possible. Wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour, hail up to 2-inch in diameter. Could see some very heavy rain within some of these pockets of thunderstorms as well. So definitely stay tuned to News 3 Now. We'll have live coverage of the severe weather. Now, the good news is that after that severe weather, things calm down quite a bit for the rest of the week. We have a few small chances of rainfall, but it doesn't look like we're going to see severe weather with that, and temperatures will be pretty comfortable, possibly into the the 70s by early next week, could even get into the low 80s at times. And it looks like we will continue to see very warm temperatures beyond the 10-day forecast. So obviously a lot of our attention is focused on that alert day for Monday, but overall there's going to be a lot of very nice days over the next 10 days. You know, today's going to be very nice. Tuesday, Wednesday looks nice, although it may rain Thursday. It'll be nice again for Friday and next weekend. So we just got to get through Monday, and we're going to be pretty smooth sailing because, like I mentioned, that Thursday rain, it doesn't look like we'll see severe weather with that.
The NFL draft has come and gone, and did Green Bay ever show out? Over 600,000 people flocked to Lambeau over the three-day event, more than doubling projections. And among all the unforgettable moments, I would say nothing tops the Packers' fourth-round draft pick. Baron Sorrell, who thought about heading home when he wasn't drafted on Friday, he instead stuck it out in Green Bay, creating an unforgettable moment for the only prospect that was still there in person yesterday.
Just so blessed and thankful that I made the decision to come back because, I mean, it couldn't have turned out better, man. I'm so thankful for the opportunity that this organization has given me, the people that believed in me and gave me this opportunity, but just to God for the way everything turned out, being able to embrace the fans and feel their energy, and I'm just ready to add to this great tradition.
But he just got the Packers party started when it came to draft picks yesterday, because in the fifth round, Green Bay went defense again, taking Colin Oliver, a linebacker out of Oklahoma State. The speedster, though, played just 2 games for the Cowboys last season due to injury. And you know, it would not be a Brian Gutekunst draft without selecting a defender out of Georgia, which is what he got in the 6th round with Warren Brinson. The 6'5", 315-pound defensive tackle is an athletic specimen. And in the 7th round, they had 2 selections. First of all, they took Micah Robinson, a cornerback out of Tulane, and they capped off their draft by taking John Williams, an offensive tackle out of Cincinnati. Well, Badger fans had to wait longer to hear one of their own selected in the NFL draft yesterday than they have since 1990. The first Badger taken off the board didn't happen until the 7th round when the Atlanta Falcons selected Jack Nelson with the 218th overall pick. The Stoughton native was a mainstay at left tackle for the Badgers, appearing in 49 games in the last 5 seasons. And not long after, another Badger came off the board when the Colts selected Hunter Wohler in the 16th pick of the 7th round. The safety is as solid as they come and joins Tanner Bordellini and Jonathan Taylor in Indy. And another pair of Badgers signed with NFL teams yesterday but were not drafted. Joe Huber, an offensive lineman and a guard at that, signed as an undrafted free agent with the Minnesota Vikings, while cornerback R.J. Delancey III inked a deal with the Giants. And earlier in the day yesterday, some former Badgers heard their names called in earlier rounds. With the first pick in the 4th round, the Tennessee Titans took wide receiver and Waukesha native Chimere Dike, while the Texans selected quarterback Graham Mertz in the 6th. And the Brewers in an NL Central battle trying to clip the Cardinals, but trailed 5-3 in the top of the 9th. That is until Jackson Chourio chose violence. A no-doubt home run ties things at 5. The second-year stud went 4 for 5 at the dish on the day. But in the bottom of the frame, the Cardinals struck back with the death blow. Nolan Arenado walks off the crew as they lose their 4th straight. To the links where Jerry Kelly shot 5 under in the 2nd round of the Mitsubishi Electric Classic. The Madison native is 15 under on the weekend, tied for first place heading into today's final round. That's your morning sports fix. Have a serene Sunday.
Well, I hope you have a serene Sunday, too. Still ahead on weekend mornings, a new seal sanctuary opening in the Netherlands. Stick around, we'll be right back. This morning, a new state-of-the-art seal sanctuary has opened up in the Netherlands. The World Heritage Center is one of the most advanced facilities of its kind in the world. And this 4-month-old gray seal is a lucky survivor, able to swim in one of the 9 brand new tanks at the World Heritage Center. Look at how cute he is. He was brought in after being orphaned and was suffering from a swollen flipper and a damaged eye. But the new facility is significantly closer to the sea than the previous location. And the tank for this 10 seals currently residing at the World Heritage Center look out over the water. How cool is this, Jacob? You get your nature, it's right there in with the water, so you don't feel like, you know, the seals are trapped. It's so cute. I'm just obsessed with the animals.
I love animals too. I love going to the zoo. It makes me want to go there right now.
Yeah.
Let's take a trip
to the
after
Netherlands.
this.
Let's go.
Let's take a not to the Netherlands. I'm just saying Henry Vila Zoo. Just right after the show. Let's take a trip.
We could do that too.
Definitely today's the day to do it because tomorrow we have that severe weather. Here's a look at the timing of all of it. Again, we're going to see some light severe weather early in the day, dry in the afternoon, which will allow very strong storms to form for the evening hours. Definitely stay tuned to News 3 now. We'll have live coverage of this severe weather, especially considering the fact that we could see a few isolated tornadoes. Now, here's the good news. Outside of Monday, we're going to have very nice weather going forward. Might see some rain Thursday, but a lot of sunshine and highs in the 60s, then in the 70s by the time we get to early next week. Also going to be nice for the middle of the day on Monday, but again, once you get to the evening, definitely get inside. It could be pretty dangerous.
Well, we'll leave you with a quote. You can do anything, but you can't do everything, so make sure you're doing the things that are meaningful.